Hi, I'm Cliff, and this is my garage. Today, we're looking at how to remove the strut tower covers from the Cayman. Hey, welcome back to the garage. And if this is your first time joining me, thanks for dropping by. First off, please do me a favor, go click on that like button to let YouTube know that you're enjoying the content I'm making. It really helps me to grow the channel. And if you're not one of my subscribers, today we're running a special. So go ahead and click on that big shiny red subscribe button for a 100% free channel subscription. Act now, don't delay. Before we talk about how to remove the strut tower covers, let's talk about why you'd want to do it. One reason would be to route some wires for some kind of like an accessory like a backup camera, a rear view dash camera, maybe a subwoofer. One very common reason is to actually work on the rear struts themselves, to replace them or upgrade to coilovers. Or in my case, I'm installing a roll cage that attaches to the strut covers and also has the added benefit of stiffening the rear body and improving handling. Now, be aware that removing the strut tower cover is not a simple task, mainly because you can't just remove the strut tower cover. In order to remove it, you have to remove multiple other panels, all of which are kind of a pain to figure out, even if you've got access to the factory service manual like I do. And even once you know how to do it, it's still a major pain in the butt because the process is just contorted and difficult to pull off. So be patient, follow along with the directions I'm going to give you, and it will eventually come apart, I promise. Let's get started. The first thing we need to do is remove the padded engine cover, the sound control panel. And I find that easiest to do from inside the cabin with the seats flipped forward. Flip the little D-rings up out of the way and take an automotive trim tool like this. You can buy these like in a set of a dozen for about 15 bucks. I find them invaluable. I use them all the time, and I'll give you a link to the ones, well, they don't actually sell the ones I use anymore, but I'll give you a link to a very similar set that's virtually the same thing. Don't use a screwdriver. You can see here there's scratches all over the trim for where people have used things like screwdrivers in the past. Get a nice nylon tool that won't mar things up. So just take and push the tool in right around here and pry. And it'll pop right up. Do the same thing over here. And then pull straight up to pop the two side tabs loose. And now lift it up, slide it forward, and pull it out the door. This thing is surprisingly heavy. Next, we need to remove this luminized plastic panel here, and the screws that hold it on are located inside your little service panel here where you have your oil and coolant fill. And the screws are right here and here, and these are T20 Torx screws. Once those two screws are out, just take this and pull straight up. And there's a whole bunch of little triangular shaped springs, which is what most of the trim is held on with in the Cayman. And it sounds like you're going to break things. It sounds like you're breaking things, but just pry up and they will come loose. And you can see those little triangular springs I was talking about. I forget what the official name for them is. Something like retention clips or something. I call them the triangular springs. Take your screws. Don't lose those. My favorite way to deal with screws is to take a piece of wide painter's tape, stick them to the tape, and fold it over halfway, leaving some sticky part, and then stick it right to the part. That helps me most of the time not lose the screws. The next step is to remove the C-pillar trim here, and start off by taking this little cover plate here. It's just a small piece here. Get this edge and pull it out and down, and it pops right off. And you can see the little ears that connect here on either side. When you put it back together, you just line those back up and pull the trim away a bit. Get them in there, and then rotate it back up into place. So again, just pull it out and down like that. Next, we need to remove this little cap here that's over the seatbelt mechanism. Just get your fingers for one hand in where this the slot where the seatbelt comes out, and kind of hold the lower area. This seam here comes around the front, and just hold the lower part and pull up on that slot straight up, and it comes loose. And let it hang here off the seatbelt. You don't need to loosen or remove the seatbelt. Right here is another one of those T20 torque screws we need to remove. This one's in kind of a clumsy position because it's hard to get a screwdriver on it. And I certainly couldn't wiggle my impact driver into there. Okay, now this is one of the tougher parts because you've got a lot of things going on at once. We're going to take and pull this out so that it gets past that little clip point there, and work around and pop the joint that's right here between the B-pillar trim and the C-pillar trim. And these are often very hard to get loose. So start here at the top edge, pull out on the C-pillar trim, push in on the B-pillar trim, and pop it apart. There. Now keep working this loose, and then slide it forward just a little bit. And then you can unclip the light here. It's hard to unclip it without pulling the bulb out. When the bulb's kind of warm, let's stick the bulb back in there. And make sure you get that screw we removed and tape it down to this piece. There's one of those spring clips. They do tend to pop loose. Woo, I tore up my fingernail there. Where did this one? Sometimes you'll just find these things laying around, and you got to figure out where they came from. I don't see it offhand, so I will also tape it to this, and it may have actually come off of another piece. Let's get this little piece of foam rubber out of the way. And now we're finally ready to actually remove the shock tower cover, or the strut tower cover. There's two screws that need to be removed. One is down here in this little pocket. I'm not sure if you can actually see that or not. And the other one is way back in there. There's two of them. This one is the wrong one. This one here is the correct one. Remove this one. Okay, now this is held down in the same way with those spring clips, and so we need to just take this and pull it straight up and out. In some other case where it's going to sound like you're breaking it. And then be careful because the speaker wire is connected. Just pull it out and turn it over. And I've seen a couple different kinds of speaker connectors. One's much bigger and it has a couple of locking ears that you need to squeeze to remove. For the little ones like this, they just pull straight out like that. Take and tape up our screws, stick it on here, and we're done. Wow, that was a lot of work to remove one little plastic part, wasn't it? Now, before you go down there, smash that like button and feed that YouTube algorithm and let them know that you're enjoying the content I'm producing and find it valuable. And if you're not a subscriber, go click that subscribe button and join the channel. Again, it's completely free for a limited time only. And finally, if you want to keep up with everything I'm doing here in the garage and with Project 987.2, including the roll cage and new seats and 6-point racing harnesses that I'm putting in, go click on that bell icon. That turns on notifications for this channel, and that way YouTube will let you know every time that I post something new from here in Cliff's Garage. I'll see you next time.